people with disabilities, when we think about a historical perspective, we're talking about a group of people who have been marginalized throughout history and can go toe-to-toe, quite frankly, with other minority groups. So it is only a recent development in our culture where we've decided that people with disabilities in fact have value, have something meaningful to contribute to our culture. And the way that that has manifested itself here in Pickaway County and across the U.S. is that we are finding ways for people with developmental disabilities to become incorporated into their community. And this is such an important piece for people who have historically been marginalized, who have been lonely, who have been ostracized. So we have this great idea of how to take people with developmental disabilities and find them meaningful roles in the community, make them feel like citizens of their community, but not all of our supports have caught up with that idea.
One day I was telling my provider I wanted to go to church, and she was saying, "But Michelle, why don't you go outside and walk to a church you can walk to?" And I felt like telling her, "Well, why don't you come to my church? Because that would be the same. I like my church because I like my church." And nobody should take that away from me. I am a person just like you are.
Bobby and Michelle Gifford have been a part of our church for several years now. They have become such an important, vital part of our congregation. Our congregation fell in love with them, and they fell in love with us, and they've been so much a part of everything that goes on here. And so when it turned out that Bobby and Michelle no longer had transportation to come here, and that was because Michelle got the motorized chair, and no one in the congregation had the equipment, not a van or a vehicle properly equipped to transport the motorized chair. So it became a problem, and Bobby and Michelle were not able to come here anymore because of the transportation problem.
It made me a little mad because I love church and I cannot go because I don't have transportation.
The absence of Bobby and Michelle from our congregation has impacted terrifically because they always sat in next to the front pew and in the sanctuary, and everybody could tell when they were there and when they weren't there. We love you, Michelle and Bobby. We love you very much.
We love you and we missed you.
Well, thank you, Michelle. Thank you very, very much.
My Sundays have not been the same.
Oh, bless your heart. Could you all hear that? Amen. Yes. Their absence was really noticed. And Michelle had earned a reputation of being quite a good singer. And she would just sing like a canary, and you could hear her, and I say this in a complimentary way, you could hear her singing above everybody else, and the congregation loved it. So that when they were not able to be here anymore, the best way I can put it, it left a huge hole in our congregation. There was a noticeable empty space, a void out there that nobody else could fill.
I admire Michelle so much because she is a fiercely independent person. She lives with her husband at home. She and Bobby, her husband, they have a wonderful life that very much reminds me of my own. We have very similar goals. We have very similar priorities. And so I see myself reflected in Michelle. And when she talks about her struggles to get out, to be transported around places, it's really frustrating. I can see how she feels lonely sometimes, how she feels like she is overlooked, how she feels that she's not able to experience life to the fullest. And that's been very frustrating to see. As somebody who I care about, it's hard to see her struggling with that because she can't get to the places that she would like to go.
I have to talk to somebody ahead of time and say, can I go to the zoo? Or I would love to go out to dinner with my friend John, but I would have to, plan how I would go. And half of the time, transportation is open at the time I want to go. I just want people to know that we have a right to say at the last minute, say, hey, I want to go out to dinner. I'm hungry, I want to go out to dinner today.
Sarah Wilkins has been trying to get a job for a long time, and this entire office was so excited when she finally found a job. And it wasn't just that she had a job, it was something that she was excelling in. It was so exciting. It was nice to hear her employer talk about what a fantastic employee she is. It was wonderful to see how proud her family was of her, and it was amazing to see Sarah's self-confidence. When she got a job, she blossomed. You could see that. And she is so proud of herself, and at the same time, she's struggling because when she wants to go to work, she's transported by her mother. She's a 20-year-old. She doesn't want to go with her. She doesn't want to be transported by her mom. None of us would. So it's this piece that is really holding her back. We are so proud of her, but we want her to have the same opportunities that we do.
I work at the Starkville Savings Bank.
Sarah's journey to community employment was a long one. Sarah graduated from high school in 2012 and went 2 years unemployed. So we tried to fill our days with volunteering and household chores and things that kept her busy all the while applying for positions. So when she finally got the word that she was hired at the savings bank, it was a very happy day for all of us, believe me. Sarah has always taken a lot of pride in what she does, and being home without employment was very difficult for her.
Yeah.
It was, wasn't it? Yeah. And about 2 months ago, Sarah came to me and told me that she was going to try and get her driver's license. Then it hit me how important transportation was to Sarah. It was so important that Sarah was willing to try and do something that was going to be virtually impossible for her, and that was to get her driver's license. She's since decided on her own, a very grown-up decision, that driving isn't something that she's ever going to be able to do. Right?
Yeah.
That was kind of a sad day, wasn't it?
Yeah. I love my mom, but I like my independence. I wish I can learn how to get my license. I can't. You have to get to a from walk.
So independence for Sarah is a long and winding road, and one that probably will never be over. I think that it probably makes Sarah feel less grown up. You know, she's a 23-year-old young woman. Who might not always want her mom to take her. Sorry. I think it's really important for Sarah to be able to do things on her own, because Sarah is a 23-year-old young woman who wants the same things that every other 23-year-old young woman wants. She wants a job in her community. She wants to feel accepted. She wants to have meaningful work. She wants to feel good about herself. She wants to be independent, and I want that for her as much as we can. And transportation plays a role in that, because she's already had to let go of that rite of passage that most young women her age get to have, which is gaining independence through driving. So if we can help her feel as independent as she can through not driving, but riding, then that's really important to us, and I think it's really important to Sarah. I think it's really important that you feel like everybody else when you go to work every day.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm happy and I'm proud of who I am, and I'm smart.
So Miss Sarah Hicks is a fantastic person. I've been working with her for a number of years, and what started as a professional relationship has really evolved into a close friendship. So she's one of my good friends, and she has a fiery personality. She loves to get out. She loves to go. She thrives when she's around people, and you can just see that in her personality when you're around her. So it's important for her to be able to get out and go places. And that's why when she struggles with transportation, when she struggles to get where she wants to go, this is very hard for her. She wants to connect with people. She wants to be able to go see her friends, to go see her family, to volunteer, to be in Special Olympics. These are all really important events for her. And in order for her to be a thriving member of our community, she has to be able to get to where she wants to go.
I like walking around, but in my case, rolling. I like going to the store. I like walking to the park, just taking nice long walks. To go do meetings, it's hard for me to get from point A to point B sometimes, because I don't have, when it's wintertime, I don't have a way. And for me, it's just not that easy to get out because of transportation.
Hello, Sarah.
Hello.
Sarah usually walks by herself here. Michelle and Bobby often come by themselves here.
And walk with me
and
sometimes.
walk with you sometimes, because they live really close together. And it's difficult, and there's times that they call me and tell me that they can't come to the meeting because it's raining or it's cold, or there's 8 inches of snow on the ground and it's icy. I can't imagine why you wouldn't want to go out in that. But yeah, it's been an ongoing problem. Transportation's been an ongoing issue with these guys. So after the last time, Michelle and Sarah both came to me and were really, really upset about the fact that their lives are just hard. It's just hard because they can't just get in the car and go like we can. And so
I can't just get up and walk.
Yeah. You don't even have that luxury, huh? It's more just like...
It's more like my wheels or my legs.
Right. So we have to figure out a way to make it easier for you, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're going to try to do.
Traffic ain't fun. And there's a bunch of in and out traffic. They're going left, they're going right, they're going straight. and you have to sit there and wait. And some cars are nice to pull or let you go ahead of them and try to stop traffic. But I had an incident a while back. I could have got hit just because somebody doesn't pay attention to the side of the road. It's just not easy being me sometimes. And that's what I'm trying to get across.